Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, July 26th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And also, if you trade Bitcoin, I will do a bonus analysis at the end. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, that candlestick right there will be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. And then finally, if you would like for me to do an analysis on one of your positions, just go ahead, comment down below, and I will do my best to get to that in a future top 10 video. So stock number one, ticker symbol NVDA, huge volume today, quite the crazy price movement with the move downwards here. To think that the price got all the way down here, then was able to fight all the way back up there. Good solid bounce, but that does lead to the more than valid question of, but is there any sort of true power behind this bounce? Is there any sort of genuine strength behind it? And I have no idea, but by using charts, we can make answering that question very straightforward. And it's all going to revolve around, let me change that line to green to represent support. But in my mind, all going to be revolving around 111.50. Why is that level so important? And I'm not saying this is what's going to actually happen, but just for example's sake, if the price were to come down here and then break down below there, what would that be doing to the price? That would quite literally be putting the price essentially right back to where it was. Or said another way, that would imply that the price made a nice bounce and then went right back to where it was. Not exactly a sign of true, genuine strength. Now, as nice as it would be, nothing can go straight up. So maybe the price comes down here, but in this situation behaves like that and then curls back upwards. Now, all of a sudden, what would you have? Well, you'd have a set of lows there. You'd have those lows right there. And if you envision those as stair-steps, now you have stair-steps making progress in the upwards direction. And that's what it's all about, signs of progress. So is this a truly strong bounce on Nvidia? Let's see if it can show signs of progress moving forward. How is progress being defined? Staying up above 111.50. So let's see what happens. Next one, SQQQ. Couple of key things here. First, I'm just going to go ahead and delete this line out. Sure, it still pertains, but just from a presentation standpoint and not wanting to risk clutter and confusion with lines of word, let's try to keep this as clean as possible. Now, this first comment will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the video from yesterday, but if you did, hopefully remember me throwing that green line in there at 885, talking about that as a level of support. And not to pat myself on the back, but definitely to pat charts on the back. Beautiful, beautiful example here of the power of charts. Price was way up here. Big pullback, and look right where the pullback started to go sideways, essentially right at that support level before now getting to bounce back in the upwards direction. So again, not patting myself on the back, but charts, they're a valuable tool. They're something that certainly, in my opinion, should play a role within all traders' tool belts. Now, in terms of areas of resistance, that is where this 940 mark comes into play. You can see there was that temporary break up through there, but this was just a fake break as the price then flushed through. But this afternoon has been very strong, and in fact, as I speak right now, you can see this last 30-minute nice green candle here is forming. So does this momentum of the last 30 minutes carry into Friday? And if so, can that momentum get back up there and push up through there? So definitely a couple interesting questions based on the nature of how this one is closing out the day. But yeah, another highly volatile day with big volume. So if you like this price range, you like volume, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one, SERV, and quite the afternoon on this one. I mean, when you look at this here, one green candle after another, up, up, up. But now all of a sudden in the last 30 minutes, you can see this red candle has formed. It is pulling back some more. Now that doesn't mean that it's completely wiped away all this progress here. But yeah, a little bit disappointing when this thing had been so strong all afternoon long. Again, one 30-minute candle is not wrecking anything. I'm just saying it would have been that much more impressive had it been able to just pull out one final green candle there. But nonetheless, if this thing does pull back some more, first key level of support to keep a close eye on would be this former breakout point right here at $10, and we'll call it 25 cents. If that level doesn't quite hold up, then I would definitely consider the must-hold level right down there, the purple line, which on my chart denotes the very well-known, the very famous 50-period moving average, currently valued at, we'll call it $9.34. In terms of levels of resistance, main battleground to watch moving forward. I'm not quite sure if the price hit it today. It did indeed. Right around $12.35. You can see back here, there was this price congestion area, and that's exactly where essentially the price got rejected from today. So that doesn't mean that 1240 can't be broken. I'm just saying it makes sense why the price struggled there, and that'll be public enemy number one going forward from the bull standpoint. Next one, POAI. Pretty rough move today. To think that there were some poor souls that bought right there. Hopefully they were using stop losses because there was this very nasty pullback. But the nasty pullback is what now leads into the setup because, yeah, nasty pullback. And around this time, it becomes very valid to say, uh-oh, Is this a pump and dump? Is this some sort of gap and trap? And as of now, doesn't necessarily seem so, because at least the price has now started to go sideways. Now, let me be very clear, and I wish I could say trading was this easy. Just because there is this massive downfall, and now just because the price is going sideways, does not mean that for sure, guaranteed, without question, the price is now going to bounce back upwards. My point here is it becomes a whole lot more plausible. Case in point, if the price was still just dropping, and I'm sitting here saying, hey, it's looking like this could be the bottom, you'd be totally justified to say, what are you talking about? Based on what? The price is literally just dropping straight down. But that's not the case here. It has at least started to go sideways. So does not guarantee anything, but makes it a whole lot more reasonable. So if you like these scenarios where you get a big move up, you get a nasty pullback, and then the price starts to go sideways, and then you're thinking maybe it could head back upwards, and you like this price range, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one, TCS. Crazy movement today. Mainly just as, I take that back. Earlier on in the day, you did get that spike right there, but the volume just kicked it into a whole nother gear this afternoon. But point being, just even from a very straightforward standpoint, from a trading standpoint, we care about two main things. Volume, and then does the price move? Is there volatility within that volume? And both of those certainly showed themselves to be true today. To think that this thing started off as a penny stock, went well up over $1, and has now pulled back some. But with the pullback, as we just talked about with the previous one, now makes it a little bit more interesting, because at least there is some sideways movement here. So it becomes a whole lot more valid to throw out the question, okay, is this a healthy consolidation? Is the pullback over, and is this thing going to get ready to head back upwards? So in the very near term, that key level of resistance to watch as I speak, and that's why I like to do these when the market's open. Are we going to watch, see it? Yeah, look, breaking through that level right now. We'll see if it can maintain itself. But $1.15, that initial area of resistance, and then after there, really nothing until where the party stopped today, which was essentially up there around $1.42. So you can see right there, a little bit of a rejection, but it's definitely knocking on the door. Market closes in 10 minutes, so still 10 minutes for it to push back up through there. So if you're watching this video and the price is above 115, that means that this breakout has succeeded, and your next immediate question would be, okay, well, now it's all about 142 and whether or not the price can break up through there. But yeah, nice little consolidation here. We'll see if this thing can curl back upwards on Friday. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live webinar. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use to sign up, or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area on the webpage there you can use to get signed up. Now, one special note, it is a genuine live event. So a couple things, maybe you already have something on your schedule this evening, or maybe you're watching this Friday morning and you totally missed it. Go ahead, send me an email to clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay. But because it's live, the event does first need to happen, and then I can send it to you after that. So a little bit of patience will be needed in that regard. But if you can make it live, then definitely get signed up, and I'll see you here in just a few hours. Next one here, ticker symbol F, Ford, well-known stock, well-known company. And when you have well-known companies get absolutely beat down like it did today, it can create some very tradable opportunities, especially when you have some signals that, okay, maybe, just maybe, the bleeding is over and the sellers are gone. In the sense of, yes, opening 30 minutes, very rough. And then there was this downward move here, but nothing crazy. And in fact, it ultimately did respect that level right there, for the most part, at $11, and we'll call it about 15 cents. So you can see back here, price did act as support, and right now it's going sideways right at that level. So it becomes a more than rational thought to throw out there, hey, you know what? Is this thing at bottom? Is this thing getting ready to bounce back upwards? No, maybe it doesn't, and that's why risk management matters. But the thing is, well, maybe it is, and this thing gets moving in the upwards direction. So from a risk versus reward scenario, assuming, of course, you're going to be disciplined, you could be looking at a very small controlled loss, but if you do get some sort of bounce, you could be looking at a reward that was well above what you were risking in the first place. So if you like these scenarios where you get a well-known stock absolutely beat down, sitting at a very logical area where it could bounce from, and you're good at managing risk, then keep an eye on Ford. Next one here, TSLA, Tesla, and overall got a very nice move. Talked about this in yesterday's video. Threw out that resistance line right there, and you can see got the breakthrough there. Made a nice move, and then pretty much went sideways. But regardless, it didn't put in any new lows today, so that's always encouraging. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. But what I'm very curious about now is, are we entering into just some kind of big old sideways channel pattern? Because when you look at the resistance today, it was basically perfect from the high back there on Wednesday. Price came up there, rejected, 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 rejected. You still have this area of support down here. So like I said, in my mind, are we now entering into a sideways consolidation where you have the top level of the pattern resistance at 226, you have the bottom part of the support of the pattern right there at 214.50. So that very well may be what happens here, and especially with this last 30 minutes. Is this the leading indicator that's going to signal it coming down to, at least do battle with the bottom part of the channel? We'll have to see what happens with it. But yeah, at the core, you got to think that a whole bunch of people are watching these couple levels. And when a lot of eyeballs are watching the same levels, wondering the same things, especially at a well-known stock such as Tesla, you can get some good quality self-fulfilling prophecies, whether that's a breakout or breakdown. So let's see what happens with this 30-minute sideways channel. Next one, ticker symbol MIRA. And overall, things are hanging in there. And I say overall because the price has been doing a fantastic job of honoring that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. And that's the level that, from an overarching standpoint, you want to see the price stay above it, because as long as the price is above there, then at least in my opinion, that represents the overall trend being fully in the bull's favor. And that's exactly what's happened. You can see late day on Wednesday, and then even today, never quite hit it, but it's doing a good job of maintaining above it. So if you haven't connected those dots, then yes, the ideal level of support you want to see hold moving forward is going to be at 282, which again will change as time goes by, because that's the line moves, hence its name, a moving average. But right now the value is at 282. In terms of areas of resistance, main level that stands out to me right here at the 374 mark. And when you go back through the history of things, you can see right there resistance when the price got a nice move above it. It got really going, and then you can see right there earlier opening 30 minutes, that's right where it got rejected. So you got to think a lot of eyeballs are watching that, and there are no guarantees, but self-fulfilling prophecy or whatever you want to call it, more than valid to think that if the price comes up here, because there's so many people watching that level, if it can break up through there, then that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure. But like I said, big picture wise, this thing's holding in there. We'll see if it can get a break up through 374 sooner than later. Next one, CMAX, very, very nice looking chart, and going back to that whole idea of self-fulfilling prophecies and areas that you got to think a lot of people are watching. So as I put this line here, please understand I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply that that was some sort of great secret discovery. Not at all. A lot of people have noticed that level. That was a rejection point from here, and it once again was a rejection point today. So you got to think a lot of people are watching that area, especially those breakout traders. So while there are no guarantees, it becomes more than rational to think that if the price can come up here and then get a break up through that level, that break in of itself could very realistically, bring in more momentum and create that much more fanfare and upwards momentum. So definitely 665 going to be that key breakout point, key resistance level here on CMAX. And then in terms of areas of support, yeah, there's a little bit of a pullback right here. But as I just talked about, from the overarching standpoint, you can see the price has really done a fantastic job of respecting that purple line. In fact, the price never even touched it. But you can see whenever the price gets somewhat close to that purple line, the price has done a good job of maintaining and respecting it. And as long as that remains the case moving forward, that is what matters most. But yeah, in my opinion, at least, most interesting dynamic about this one is all about 665. So we'll see if the price can curl back upwards and then maybe do battle with it on Friday. Next one here, TQQQ, and another pretty rough day, although from a trading standpoint, certainly some potential profit here. That line that I mapped out in yesterday's video, you can see price got the break up through there, consolidated, and then got a nice little bounce up from there. So if you're some sort of trader that likes to trade, within the day itself, that was plenty of wiggle room right there to pull out some profit. But yes, as I speak right now, last 30 minutes, absolutely brutal. This thing is essentially rolling back over, but that now does create a very kind of good popcorn moment moving into Friday, and it has to do with, again, nothing fancy, and I emphasize that because when things are just not fancy, there's just going to be that many more eyeballs watching it, and it can create that many more self-fulfilling prophecies. But right here at 62, that was the bottom from today, and then the price, as I speak, is getting relatively close. So no guarantees, but more than rational to think that the price has a good chance of going down there and retesting $62 on Friday, which brings about the big question: will it be some sort of double bottom where the price comes down here and then bounces beautifully off it? So you'll have some people rationally, correctly thinking that, and you're going to have other people rationally, correctly thinking, well, I think if it comes down here and breaks down through it, I think that's going to be the sign that the floodgates are opening once again. So people are going to be looking to go short. Again, I completely see where they're coming from, but that's why risk management matters, because somebody's going to be right, somebody's going to be wrong. But the point here being is that because it's just such a simplistic level, and there's, with the movement down here, a lot of people are going to be watching $62 on this one for Friday. If the thing all of a sudden decides to snap back around and try to head back upwards, key area of resistance right there at 67.40. And like Tesla, now becoming a question of, you can see right there a couple rejections. Is this entering into some sort of sideways channel where the price comes down here, does indeed bounce, maybe comes up here? I don't know. We'll have to see what happens, but all I know is that I'm very curious about $62, and I get a sneaky suspicion I'm not the only one. I will get to Bitcoin here in just a second, but again, for you stock traders out there, if you like what you saw here, then definitely go get signed up for the free live webinar. It'll be this evening, Thursday at July 25th, 7 p.m. Eastern time. But like I said earlier, if you can't make it live for whatever reason, then go ahead, send an email to clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay. And this is a genuine live event, and I say that because there will be a question and answer session. So if you have any questions, please bring them, and I'd be happy to answer them for you. All right, now let's talk some Bitcoin. Now, one quick clarification here. I'm on the 4-hour time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 4 hours. And because Bitcoin is open 24/7, I want this video to remain relevant for as long as possible. So going out on a longer term time frame like this makes that more possible. But yeah, it's been a rough past 24 hours for Bitcoin, although to give credit where credit's due, it did maintain above one of the key levels of support that I mapped out right here at that 63,260 mark. It got very close. So right there, the power of charts before bouncing. But it did actually break down through that level. But what I'm going to do here is just get rid of that because I think we can have a more clean way to measure this. And that is just to now use the main area of resistance right there. That purple line, this 50-period moving average, which you can see right there, actually already did act as resistance. So I'm just going to assume that you're watching this video 15, 20 hours from now. So question number one becomes, where is the price at relative to 63,260? As long as you're answering that question that the price is above that level, then all in all, everything is perfectly fine. That would just imply that this thing is continuing to consolidate. Sure, maybe it's down here a little bit more, but it hasn't violated any other supports, so I would still consider that a fully healthy consolidation. Now, if you're saying, well, actually, Clay, the price is down below 63,260, next question becomes, okay, well, where's the price at relative to that pink line right there? If the price is down below there, at that point, that's telling you that the bears have gained more momentum and the bears are getting that much more stronger. So keep an eye on that. But if you're saying, well, Clay, the price is above that level and it's actually up above that 50-period moving average, well, that's just telling you that not only is it a healthy consolidation, the consolidation is gaining strength because it's starting to return back upward. So keep your eye on those levels, walk yourself through those questions, and that'll keep this video relevant for as long as possible. And as I invited the stock traders, I'm inviting you as a crypto and Bitcoin trader to go get signed up for this free live class because what you're learning about can and definitely should be used within the world of crypto and Bitcoin too. So like I said, it'll be this evening, Thursday, July 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. But if you can't make it for whatever reason, go ahead, send me an email to clay@claytrader.com and bring your questions. As I mentioned, there will be that live question and answer session. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, do a couple things for me. Hit the like button, leave a comment below, tell me your watch list for tomorrow. And like I said earlier, if you have a request, go ahead, comment below, and I'll do my best to get to that in your future video. So thanks for watching. Go get signed up for that free webinar. If you can't make it live, then go ahead and send me an email.